Vai'cairn thought for several long minutes, pondering Taniq Yuga's riddle. He had never been good at this sort of thing. "Well," said Taniq, "are you going to answer? Or did you just come here to waste my time?" Vai'cairn racked his brain. "I'm thinking." Looks difficult for you." As much as the old woman's remark irked him, he knew she was right. In the heat of battle, and while traveling through the jungle or sea, his instincts would take over, and they gave him the strength and cunning to overcome great challenges. But when it came to feats of intelligence and knowledge, he had always struggled. He rolled over several possible answers in his mind, but none of them seemed to fit the entirety of the riddle. Finally, he knew he had to at least make an attempt. "The answer is love." Taniq eyed him for just a moment, then burst into laughter. She cackled, and even the parrot joined in. "Love? The big tough berserker speaks of tender love." Vai'cairn was furious. He wanted to slap her mocking face. "Shut your mouth, old crone." "Oh, now I believe you are cunning in the ways of brutal combat, but on the battlefield of the mind, you are but a fledgling." Taniq Yuga turned and walked back inside her hut, chuckling to herself all the way. "Damn it, wait!" shouted Vai'cairn. But she did not reply. He strode up to within a few paces of her doorway. The parrot looked down at him. "Be gone!" "Shut up, bird! Taniq, get back here!" From inside the hut, he could hear her voice. "You heard, Rock. Be gone, boy. We have other things to tend to." "Be gone!" Vai'cairn grumbled aloud and stomped away out of the clearing. He picked up a large fallen tree branch and snapped it in two with the force of his well-toned arms. He threw the remnants to the ground, took a deep, sighing breath. "Whatever. I don't need her help," he thought. "Why should I even be bothering? I should be making my way home." So Vai'cairn trudged on, eastward. He sought the coast he had spotted earlier, hoping to follow it all the way back to his village. There wasn't too much daylight left, but he kept a quick pace. From time to time, the thought of a lightning branch crept into his mind. He wondered if he had missed an opportunity to locate one, then decided it wasn't important, and he tried to stop thinking about it altogether. Just as it was getting dark, he reached the eastern coast. The sky was still overcast for the most part, and far to the southeast he saw flashes of lightning in the sky. The faintest hint of thunder in the distance could be heard over the sounds of the jungle. A cool northern breeze blew, giving him assurance that the storm was moving away from the island. Vai'cairn is going to make a nature check to try to find a good sleeping spot and improvise it. His nature check is a 24, so that is definitely a success. Vai'cairn looked around for a few minutes. Finally, he came upon a place to rest, mostly dry and concealed. He added brush to it for bedding and extra concealment. He ate the last of the food that he had already gathered the previous day, and it was enough to fill his belly. "If I could get my hands on that squawking bird, it would be roasting over my fire tonight." But soon the sounds of the washing waves soothed Vai'cairn. The elders of his tribe had always said that the sound of the ocean tide at night was the lullaby of the great spirit carver. This helped to keep the inhabitants of the islands in rhythm with the cycles of day and night. Vai'cairn believed this to be true, and was glad to hear the familiar sound this night as he drifted into the arms of sleep. Vai'cairn slept in a little late the next morning. Even when he did awake, he lied there for a while, relaxing and taking in the coastal breeze, listening to the sounds of the seabirds. The aches and wounds of his body had all but completely faded, except for one, the marks on his right forearm where the jaguars had bit and clawed him the most. They had not gone away, these marks, and when he looked down at that arm, it seemed to sting. He knew that he would have a scar, and that scar would serve to remind him of the ferocity and cunning of the great hunting cats. His stomach grumbled loudly, and he rose to his feet. "Why have I been so hungry lately?" Vai'cairn had always been a big eater, but all throughout this journey, he had felt a continual hunger. The sound of the ocean gave him an idea. So Vai'cairn is going to make a nature check, and he's going to try to improvise a makeshift fishing pole and find some bait. His nature check is a 26. So he is going to fish now. He is trained in the fishing skill, and being that he is an Archai, he gets a +2 racial bonus to it. However, he is taking a -2 penalty because it's really not a proper fishing pole. So he makes his fishing check, and this represents an amount of time here. And he gets a 25, and he ends up catching a total of 5 stingrays throughout his fishing here. Vai'cairn roasted one of the rays over a fire and eagerly ate it. He strung the remaining 4 together and then pressed on. He walked the coastline, always on the lookout. The overcast sky was just beginning to break up, and here and there gleaming rays of golden sunlight poked through. The eastern coast was not nearly as winding as the western one, nor as rocky. Over sandy shores and minor embankments he traveled until the light of the day began to fade. He knew that if he pressed on through the night, he would probably reach his village by morning. However, since the sky was overcast for the most part, the light of the Fey moon would be blocked out, making visibility low. He could try to make a torch or two, but without the oil of the whale palm tree, the torches would last for an hour each at most.